Friends, I don't know about you. I've had economic anxiety before. I've lost everything. I was poor. I was broke from the age of 21 to 32. And during my economic anxiety, I never once said, I love Hitler. During my economic anxiety, I never promoted Nazi anti Semitic conspiracies. During the time I had economic anxiety, I didn't go full out being a straight up anti black racist. But that means I wasn't a young Republican leader. Oh, yes, those Telegram messages have been released, and they are exactly as you would think it would go between a conversation filled with a lot of racists with a lot of economic anxiety. And of course, they were released today. The timings is exquisite on Charlie Kirk Remembrance Day. Their prophet, their martyr, a man who spent his entire career saying, wait for it, whole bunch of racist, anti-Semitic, Islamophobic shit. Boys, it's going to be this type of day. It's going to be that I want to roast these. I want to call out the racism of these racist mother effers. It's out there. It's pure. The hoods are off. Let's just drag these guys. If you're the master race, can you all just work out, huh? Young white Republican leaders, work out. Wash your ass if you're the master race. Tweet better. For the love of God, have some economic policies that actually help this country. At least try to keep the government open. You have the House, you have the Senate, you have the White House. Why do you suck so much? Like your cankled commander-in-chief with the neck vagina. It's Brown Mary, subbing in for Mary Trump. Let's get into it. Here we go, folks. It's Brown Mary subbing in for Mary Trump. Don't worry, Mary Trump will be back next week. This is Wajahat Ali. Brown Mary keeps on burning. Big wheel keeps on turning, and we're rolling right over the Republicans and their numerous gaffes and mistakes. First off, there might be some resistance, folks. I think maybe Pete Hegseth, the completely unqualified Secretary of Defense. Oh, my bad. Secretary of War. Oh, the O4 rank, completely unqualified for his job. Oh, Pete Hegseth, whose own mother wrote him an email, which is the type of email you never, ever, Lexi, want to get from your mother, calling him basically a predator, taking the side of his ex-wife, because this man has allegedly abused women. This man has, paid $50,000 for a woman to sign an NDA. This is a man who in Princeton wrote an op-ed saying that if you have sex with a woman who's passed out, it's not considered rape. This man who has all these tattoos all over his body and works out and does cosplay, but has no respect from the military, according to all these sources. This man who has a type of alcohol problem. This man who has engaged in several Signalgate conspiracies, just copy pasting totally top secret information that could compromise our national security and just sharing it on Signal. That Pete Hegseth is really, really upset at the press. What's happening, folks? A major war is brewing between the Pentagon and the press, including Fox News. The Pentagon is telling reporters to sign restrictive new rules by Tuesday or surrender their press passes by Wednesday. And, folks, virtually every news outlet, including Fox, is rejecting the ultimatum. Pete Hegseth has gone a step too far. They said they will not sign. Journalist Sam Stein has pointed it out. Here's a slide. I want to read actually this joint statement. And this is kind of remarkable, folks. This is a joint statement of ABC News, CBS News, CNN, and Fox News. Quote, "Today, we join virtually every other news organization in declining to agree to the Pentagon's new requirements, which would restrict journalists' ability to keep the nation and the world informed of important national security issues. The policy is without precedent and threatens core journalistic protections. We will continue to cover the U.S. military, as each of our organizations has done for many decades, upholding the principles of free and independent press." Folks, I know everything's going bad. Fox News sucks. Right-wing media sucks. I've said that one of the great villains of the 20th and 21st century, if inshallah the good guys win, and we defeat the empire, and the history books are written. One of the great villains will be Rupert Murdoch, and one of the great villains will be right-wing media, and how it completely radicalized about 30% of our fellow Americans, not just Americans. Look what they've done in UK and Australia, going against democracy, going against diversity, going against efforts to combat climate change, right? These are some of the worst folks. So that when Fox News, which essentially is Pravda for Donald Trump, joins ABC and CBS, remember, enemy of the people. That's what Donald Trump says when it comes to corporate media and CNN and any type of corporate media that doesn't bend the knee. He quotes Stalin, has been calling them the enemy of the people for the past 10 years. And because of his repeated attacks on the press, there have been death threats against the press. We have seen freedoms of the press restricted. We have seen Caesar Sayoc, you remember him? I keep the receipts. In the first Trump administration, had a hit list of all of Donald Trump's critics, and he sent functional pipe bombs to CNN. He's in jail right now, and he said he was radicalized in part by right-wing media. We got that Fox News joining CNN and CBS and ABC News saying, Pete Hegseth, F you. This is a step too far. And Kegseth commented on the threats in a press conference today. Listen to Kegseth.
We had a chance to go along on the historic trip of Middle East peace, which our generation of veterans never dreamed would be possible. So you would think that the Pentagon press corps of all press corps would be front and center across the board on wanting to give credit to the president for forging this kind of peace, and instead what they want to talk about is a policy about them, which simply says maybe the policy should look like the White House or other military installations where you have to wear a badge that identifies that you're press, or you can't just roam anywhere you want. It used to be, Mr. President, the press could go anywhere, pretty much anywhere in the Pentagon.
What are you talking about, bro? Just resign. Go back to hosting Fox. And speaking about Fox, the fact that Fox, his former employer, said F you is a big deal. I'm all about divide and conquer. I'm taking a play from the British colonial playbook, what they did to my people. If you've noticed, every time I step in for Mary Trump, I see these growing fissures, folks, and I try to alert you to it. And I want you just to pry these fissures open a bit more and more and more. Pete Hegseth, this man who is a laughingstock, this man where there's leaks upon leaks upon leaks coming from within the White House about how he has tried to purge, if you will, people who aren't loyal, right? Even the White House had to be like, yo, don't give loyalty tests to people. This Pete Hegseth is increasingly allegedly more manic. Remember that about a week and a half ago, that news item came out. He's more manic than usual, trying to do these loyalty tests, right? He got all of the military commanders and leaders to come to that meeting, and then Donald Trump came to that meeting, said, I want to take the meeting also. And basically what Pete Hegseth and Donald Trump told our military leaders was, don't be gay, all right? Don't be gay, be a man like me. And the military was just sitting there staring at this man. They did not applaud. This man is unraveling in real time. And I think it is wonderful to see what the press should have done for the past 10 years when Donald Trump has attacked CNN or attacked ABC News or attacked CBS News. They should have rallied together. They should have rallied together, and they still should rally together and unite whenever he mocks and ridicules Yamiche or any black female journalist or female journalist. Whenever he attacks and mocks and ridicules, they should band together like they've banded together right now. If they had done this 10 years ago, we would not have Donald Trump as president, folks. But this is happening right now. You just gotta, let's see if he actually goes with this threat and removes the physical access to the Pentagon. I hope he doesn't, but he might. And then the only people who'll be around are friggin' podcasters like Tim Pool and Benny Johnson. You all remember them? These right-wingers who, by the way, got paid through Tenet Media. Tenet Media that was established by Russian agents who funneled money through Tenet Media and gave it to people like Benny Johnson and Tim Pool, who are now part of the press pool, to promote anti-American talking points. That's what we have in America, folks. Just a bunch of reeks and yes men and Laura Loomers. And Fox News is joining CBS and ABC News and saying, no, this is a step too far. Now, we got that covered. Let's talk about racists. Folks, Big piece of news dropped. Politico did some great reporting today. I'll give credit where credit's due. They got the Telegram messages. They got all the messages that these young Republican leaders, oh, future Charlie Kirks, send to each other. And folks, this young Republican organization is under fire after the group chat leaked. Yes, it leaked. And we got all the messages. And it's about as bad as you would think. I'm going to just reveal some of them. All right. You all can see it. If you can't see it, I'm going to read it. I love Hitler. Everyone that votes no is going to the gas chamber. We are officially under consideration for a Trump endorsement. I'm ready to watch people burn now. I'd go to a zoo if I wanted to watch monkey play ball. Monkey is what they refer to black people as, monkeys. They also use the N-word. They also use the F-word for gay people. Stay in the closet. F-word. That girl is fully R-word. They love the watermelon people. Want to take a guess? Yep, black folks. A lot of anti-black racism in there. A lot of anti-Semitism. Oh, they owned it. It wasn't just a one-off. Repeatedly, again and again and again, they use this stuff. Everyone that votes no is going to the gas chamber, and everyone that endorsed but then votes for us is going to go to the gas chamber. When do we start bullying, dude? We have a solid 3 people who can probably have them want to jump. If they vote for us, why would they be gas? When do we bring that side out? I'm going to create some of the greatest physiological torture methods known to man. Fire, fire emoji. We only want true believers. Can we fix the showers? Gas chambers don't fit the Hitler aesthetic. I'm ready to watch people burn now. We gotta pretend that we like them. Quote, hey, come on in, take a nice shower, relax. Boom, they're dead. Heart, heart emoji. This is who they are. This is not an aberration. This is the norm. Today, folks, is Charlie Kirk Remembrance Day for his birthday. He got the Presidential Medal of Freedom today. Donald Trump gave it to him. Charlie Kirk was a racist piece of shit. There, I said it. Go and run with that clip, Mega. He was a racist piece of shit who used his entire career to spread hate, who used his talents to invoke people's worst angels, who was proud of his racism, who was proud of his misogyny, who was proud of his Islamophobia. He's the man who said that MLK was a horrible person. He's the man who said that black people were better off during segregation. He's the man who said that the Civil Rights Act was a mistake. He's the man, one of his last tweets, who said Islam is the sword used by the left to slit the throat of America. He's the man who mocked and ridiculed transgender people during his last speech, right? Mocking transgender people. They went on an anti-transgender tirade because Robin Westman, memory serves me correct, a Minneapolis shooter, was allegedly a trans white person who was radicalized online, and they saw that as an opening to keep attacking transgender people. He's a man in 2023, after a mass shooting, said, hey, the price is worth it for our freedoms. And the irony, look at how he died. A white man shot him, not a transgender person, not a Muslim, not a Latino, not a black person. Allegedly, Tyler Robinson, from a conservative Christian family, a man who was radicalized online, a person who was apolitical, allegedly in a gay relationship, he was the man who shot him. Charlie Kirk was the man who asked his own followers to pay for the bail of David DePape, the Trump supporter who showed up at Nancy Pelosi's house, wanted to kill Nancy Pelosi, but instead attacked Paul Pelosi with a hammer. And Republicans thought that was hilarious. Donald Trump wearing the diaper on his ear. You all remember that? I bring the receipts. He went off script at the RNC, wore the diaper on his ear, and all these freaks wore the diaper for their king and daddy. He went off script. The first 25 minutes, if you all remember, he survived the assassination attempt done by another white male Republican voter and a gun nut. He went off script and started mocking and ridiculing David DePape, doing the hammer stuff. This is who they are. Their king and their daddy, Donald Trump, is a vicious, corrupt criminal, a racist, a misogynist, an assaulter of women, a man who partied with a pedophile, a man who said, beat them up. Remember that? To his crowd in the first administration, beat them up, beat these protesters, I'll pay for your legal fees. I keep the receipts. the man who incited a violent insurrection, the man who pardoned 1,600 people, including people with a violent background who beat up cops, a man who just in 2024, running up for the election, one of his supporters tried to beat up a CNN person. Remember that? They caught him on camera. He goes, do it, do it. They're the enemy of the people. They're the enemy of the people. A man who has called law enforcement the deep state, a man who has mocked and ridiculed Dr. Fauci, a man who has mocked and ridiculed DI and CRT. And what do his base do? His base, stochastic terrorism. They go after Dr. Fauci. Death threats against poll workers, death threats against teachers, death threats against law enforcement. The number one domestic terror threat in America for the past 10 years is right-wing terrorism that intersects with white supremacist violence. The number one in terms of plots, the number one in terms of violence. When it comes to mass shooting, 95% of them are men. Majority of them are white men. When it comes to white men, again, Tyler Robinson, alleged suspect who shot and killed Charlie Kirk. Donald Trump's, the two people who allegedly tried to assassinate him, right? The one man who got shot and killed, white man, Trump voter. The other person in Florida recently who tried to stab himself in the neck with a pen, when he was convicted. Another former Trump voter. When it comes to just 2 weeks ago, folks, the Mormon church ablaze. Who was it? Another white Trump voter. This is who they are. They are relishing torturing their enemies. These are the young Republican leaders. These are the people being groomed to replace Charlie Kirk, become senators, become the next president. Today is Charlie Kirk Remembrance Day. They're making him into a saint, a hagiography. They're behaving just like Charlie Kirk. So this is not an aberration. This is the norm. Are we surprised? Are we shocked? And folks, this ain't a good look. This is trending on Twitter, and the Young Republicans, their official Twitter account, I don't think we got that in, but they're like, this does not represent who we are, and we're going to admonish them. This is exactly who you are. You are behaving exactly like your king and daddy, Donald Trump. You are behaving exactly like your martyr, Charlie Kirk. This is who you are. And furthermore, the right wing rewards them for this type of behavior, folks. There's no penalty. The more cruel Donald Trump has been, the more the base has loved him over the past 10 years. It's time to call him out. Hit dogs holler. Call them out for what they are. Racist. They hate being called racist. Call them racist because that's who they are. And make them defend these tweets and these posts, these Telegram messages. William Hendricks, the Kansas Young Republican vice chair, used many variations of the N-word, not just one, over 12 times in the chat. Bobby Walker, vice chair of the New York State Young Republicans, said rape was epic. Quote, epic. Peter Junta, chair of the New York Young Republicans, wrote in a message sent in June that, quote, everyone that votes no is going to the gas chamber, among other horrific messages. At least one person in the Telegram chat works in the Trump regime, Michael Bartels, who serves as a senior advisor in the Office of General Counsel within the Small Business Administration. Folks, what more do you need to see? I want you all to remember that Doge, which is freaking dismantling the government, and Doge, which is gobbling up our data, all these Doge workers that Elon Musk handpicked, they're young Republicans. They're in college. The oldest one was 24. And remember, he was briefly fired because it came out that he was a racist and mocked and ridiculed Indian people. Oh, like J.D. Vance's wife. And remember 19-year-old Edward, what's his name? I don't even care about his last name. He goes by the name of Big Balls. Yeah, this is who they are. And Big Balls is the one who said, these people of color, they carjacked me in D.C. And that was the pretext that Trump used to deploy the National Guard. This is the pipeline. They're being groomed. Every time there's Muslims or every time there's black folks, what have you heard whenever there's a crime? What's happening in the home? What is it about the Muslim culture? What is it about the black family? What is it about the black culture and the hip hop and the music? So let me ask on Mary Trump Show, what's happening in these conservative white homes? What is happening in these conservative white cultural spaces? What are their parents teaching them when they take photos with guns and post it as a holiday picture? What's happening in these young white conservative homes, that these kids are radicalized online. What's happening in these young white in these white conservative homes, that there are so many mass shootings, and repeatedly, consistently, the majority happen to be white men? What's happening that these boys are turning into these teenagers and these young 21-year-old young men and young women who are straight up saying, I love Hitler, and promoting anti-Semitism and love the N-word, and want to inflict violence and torture on their political opponents? What type of culture is this? And I would say it's a culture of white supremacy. It ain't economic anxiety, folks. It used to just, my brain used to leak from my ear 10 years ago when corporate America and mainstream America said it's economic anxiety that made people vote for Donald Trump. And I said, just wait. You're going to find out that it is cultural anxiety. It is racism. And every single study that was done that showed that people who even moved from Obama to Trump, it was due to cultural anxiety, racism, the fear of being replaced. And Donald Trump played right into it. And the more cruel he is, the more misogynist he is, the more he goes against the DEI and the CRTs and the black folks and the Muslims, the more the base loves them. I was just on with Don Lemon. Some of you all saw and came from Don Lemon to Mary Trump's. Hi, welcome. And I was on with Jen Welsh, and she was saying she grew up in Red, Oklahoma, and she was saying that she grew up among white folks, conservatives, Republicans. She said, Donald Trump, he says what we think out loud. And I've been saying for 10 years, you don't listen to the brown folks, the black folks, the Muslims. We've been saying it. This is the death march. The death rattle of white supremacy has turned into the death march. It was because Obama, a black man, ascended to the White House. This country lost its mind, and they're going to get more and more racist. And the Marjorie Taylor Greens and the Tucker Carlsons, they represent not the fringe, but the core of the MAGA base. And the more cruel Donald Trump is, the more you'll see them rally around him. And I said a couple years ago, do not be surprised by 2024 or 2025 if you see the mainstreaming of white nationalism and white supremacy. And if you all read this Politico piece, they are straight up using white supremacist messages. They are straight up using white supremacist codes, folks. 1488. That is a white supremacist code. 14 because the words of the white supremacist slogan, and 8 because H is the 8th letter in the alphabet. And the 88 is for Hail Hitler. What more do you need to see, folks? Trust the evidence of your eyes. Trust the evidence of your ears. This is white supremacy on steroids. The hoods are off and replaced with pink or salmon ties. And now they have an entire party, the GOP. I said what I said, and I brought the receipts. And one of them said that rape was epic. Well, a person who would know about that would be Donald Trump. His closest friend was Jeffrey Epstein. Not my words, Jeffrey Epstein's words. They used to chase models together, according to Michael Wolff in the 90s. You saw them. You saw the videos. You heard the audio tape. They were super close. Donald Trump had a modeling agency. Donald Trump had Miss Teen USA. And these girls who were contestants in the Miss Teen USA said that he was a creep. He used to go around in the dressing rooms and see them. Donald Trump has been accused by 24 women, credible accusations of sexual assault. He lost a lawsuit to E. Jean Carroll. He was held liable for sexual assault, rape. He was also held liable for defamation. And speaking about the Epstein files, folks, he cannot escape Epstein. He cannot escape the Epstein files. It is a shackle around his cankled ankle. Folks, we have some news. I try to bring the receipts. You know, the one thing that the Republicans do really well, I'll give them credit. They have a story. They repeat the story. Sometimes they repeat the story for years. They make the story invoke a message and an emotion, and then they Trojan horse it into the mainstream. I'll give you an example. Benghazi. Benghazi, 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 Benghazi. Caravan, 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 caravan. Death panel, death panel, death panel. So let me return the favor. Epstein, Epstein, Epstein. The Epstein files. Folks, Ghislaine Maxwell is in a minimum security camp. No one has explained why a woman serving 20 years for sex trafficking who helped groom these girls, stalk these girls, and according to Virginia Giuffre and other victims of Jeffrey Epstein, raped these girls and molested these girls along with Epstein. Why did this predator, this molester of girls, this sex trafficker, get a cushy deal and sent to a minimum security camp in Texas where she's doing yoga and she's meeting high profile, unidentified visitors. Today, independent journalist Amber Woods posted a scoop on X relating to convicted sex trafficker Ghislaine Maxwell, and the post says, quote, convicted sex trafficker Ghislaine Maxwell's entire Club Fed prison camp was placed on lockdown so she could meet with an unidentified visitor. Woods went on to say that Maxwell has been given special treatment at the facility, and more reporting has shown that her inmates at the facility are growing mightily pissed that Ghislaine Maxwell has been getting a lot of perks that they don't get. She also said that the visit happened with total privacy, without supervision from the Bureau of Prisons. NBC News, other people are reporting this as well. And again, I have to ask y'all, who is the unidentified visitor? I tweeted this yesterday, maybe 2 days ago. It has over 1 million impressions. I want you all on Instagram, on whatever post you use, ask the Trump administration, why is Ghislaine Maxwell getting special treatment, and who is the high-profile unidentified visitor? We still don't have an answer, folks. I'm telling y'all, Epstein files. You want a weakness, a divide and conquer, it's the Epstein files. That's the tip of the spear. Excuse me. You're seeing people now, you're seeing wedges. Jimmy Kimmel, not Jimmy Fallon. Jimmy Fallon's pathetic. Jimmy Kimmel back on air. Why? Because of pressure. The people started canceling Disney. Then Sinclair Bethany, the other one that wants the merger to go through, they bent the knee, ABC bent the knee, Jimmy Kimmel's back on air. That is a weakness. That's a weakness of the Trump administration. They couldn't silence Jimmy Kimmel. Letitia James Comey, they said, we're going to protest this bullshit indictment. We're going to fight it. We're going to win. You're seeing now No Kings Rally, October 18th. A whole bunch of folks are coming out, and I know that Donald Trump is worried about the No Kings Rally. You know why? Because they're already spreading lies about it. They're already trying to blame Antifa. Sean Duffy, that guy who was on Real World, completely unqualified to be the Secretary of Transportation, he's talking about it. You're seeing these fissures, these cracks. Marjorie Taylor Greene came out on CNN a couple of days ago. You know who she blamed for the shutdown? Not the Democrats, not Joe Biden, not Kamala Harris. She blamed her own party and Representative Johnson. The ceasefire deal. Oh, that ceasefire deal. Remember yesterday when Donald Trump was on the cover of Time with his neck vagina, right? Remember that, taking credit for the peace deal? So much for that ceasefire deal. 9 Palestinians have been killed by Israel, and Israel has already said it's going to have the humanitarian aid it was supposed to send into Gaza, where there's phase 5 starvation. Shocking surprise. Not even a day, folks. And Israel's continuing to do what Israel said it would do. Take over Gaza, kill Palestinians, continue its genocidal path. So much for that ceasefire deal. And by the way, that's another fissure. Because a lot of Americans are like, yo, you said you'd be America first. You said you'd be anti-war. What's happening? A fissure with Israel and Palestine. Thomas Massey's on it. Candace Owens is on it. Tucker Carlson's on it. Marjorie Taylor Greene's on it, right? Fissure. And now with these Epstein files, ask them, why aren't you all releasing the Epstein files? Huh? You could get a ceasefire deal done. Great. Release the Epstein files. Here's the tweet for right now. It's 6:30 p.m. Today's Charlie Kirk Remembrance Day for his birthday, right? Charlie Kirk, he was the saint. Well, for Charlie Kirk, release the Epstein files. What did Charlie Kirk say before he died? The Epstein files should be released. What better way to honor Charlie Kirk than to honor his last wishes and release the Epstein files? Folks, I want to troll today. I said I'm going to roast him. Let's just enjoy this. Everything's going bad, but some of the worst people on earth are getting their just desserts. One of them is a person who helped create this right-wing media infrastructure, these horrific conspiracy theories. He helped radicalize a large part of Americans and the right-wing base. I'm talking about, of course, Alex Jones, who minted a fortune by mocking and ridiculing the surviving families, the parents of the children who were killed in a mass shooting in Sandy Hook. Anyone who has, I don't care if you're conservative, I don't care if you're MAGA, Republican, Libertarian, Progressive, Democrat, at the very least, we should say that mass shooting in Sandy Hook was horrific. We should all condemn that mass shooting, and we should, at the very least, be human beings and not mock the suffering of the parents who then had to go see the mutilated bodies of these kids who were torn apart by an assault rifle. Not Alex Jones. Alex Jones saw that as an opportunity to grift. And he promoted conspiracy theories and said it was a false flag operation and said that all these parents who still to this day suffer were crisis actors. And the parents said, F you, enough is enough. We're going to friggin' bankrupt you. We're going to bring a lawsuit. And the Supreme Court today rejected Alex Jones' emergency appeal to block the $1.5 billion defamation judgment against him. This ruling resulted from his repeated false claim, again, that the 2012 Sandy Hook Elementary School massacre was, quote, staged. This ruling, folks, gives some comfort, some relief to the parents. Can you imagine? I don't want anyone to imagine this. I got kids. The trauma, the lifelong pain of knowing that your child was killed in this insane country where there's mass shootings every week, where we have more guns than people, right? But this country refuses to do anything because we got the Republican Party all bought out by the NRA. They have to contend with this bullshit, this cruelty. Jones had warned that if the justices did not intervene, ownership of his InfoWars media empire could be transferred to the satirical news outlet, The Onion. Well, seems like The Onion is going to go through with their acquisition proposal. It seems like it's going to be put in motion as a means to collect damages owed to the Sandy Hook victims' families and parents. Folks, I love this. We have to take the wins. We have to take the wins. And you have to use all the levers that are available to you. That includes lawsuits. That includes social media. That includes economic boycotts. That includes protest. Look at this. Just look in the last couple of weeks when the majority bands together, you chip away, chip away, chip away. I've kept saying, as I've guest hosted Mary Trump Live, that you can't knock out fascism with a haymaker. Everyone wants to outsource this to the Avengers, and they think there'll be an epic battle and the Avengers will win. No, 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 no. An authoritarian regime, fascists, you got to take them out death through 1,000 cuts. A cut here, a cut there, a cut there, right? Let them bleed figuratively here and there. The fascist engine, especially this one run by an incompetent and reckless and self-destructive Trump regime, they just don't have the bandwidth. They don't have the numbers. They don't have the professionalism. They don't have the competent people, right? It's too much. A boycott here, a protest there, a lawsuit there, an injunction there. It all has to just add up, add up, add up, add up, add up. And I think for the rest of us, we have to be joyful warriors, because otherwise there's just so many fires that are burning, you can get despondent. And they want you to be despondent. They want you to tap out. They want you to think there's nothing you can do. They want you to think that the rise of authoritarianism is inevitable. They want you just to be chewed up by the machine. And it's up to us to say, oh, no, no, no. We've got the numbers. We know the damage is generational. We know it'll take us years to recover. We know we're up against a lot of hurdles. We know that ICE agents are terrorizing fellow Americans. We know that there's corrupt people now in the Trump administration while there's a government shutdown. They're so cruel that they're just straight up firing competent, qualified individuals in the Department of Education and Health and Human Services. But damn it, we're not going to bend the knee. We're going to fight back. We're going to fight back intelligently and peacefully, and we're going to win. And so, folks, as we move forward and march forward, there is a government shutdown. And this government shutdown, folks, the majority is blaming Republicans because we're doing our part to remind everyone Republicans have the House, Republicans have the Senate, Republicans have the White House, Republicans have corporate media. They've captured it, folks, keeping it real. And Republicans have the Supreme Court. So the government shutdown is because of the Republicans. And furthermore, more and more people are finding out that, wait a second, as the government is shut down, Republicans want to increase our healthcare premiums. Who would want to make healthcare more unaffordable? No one would want to do that. No one would be that cruel. Sorry, Republicans are like, hey, hold my beer. Or if it comes to Donald Trump, hold my Diet Coke. And more people are saying, whoa, 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 Republicans, why do you want to double what I pay for healthcare? Wait, oh yeah. You also passed this big, beautiful bill for billionaires. Oh shit. You're going to do a $1 trillion sledgehammer to Medicaid. Why would you do that? More and more people are learning about this, which is why a majority of Americans blame Republicans for the government shutdown. But speaking about wedges, speaking about divide and conquer, speaking about the tip of the spear, speaking about that one Achilles cangle that Donald Trump cannot get rid of, the Epstein files. Speaker Johnson is blaming the shutdown and the Democrats for not swearing in Adelita Grijalva. I've been telling you all for a while, keep on this. Adelita Grijalva 3 weeks ago won the seat. She's a Democrat in Arizona. She gives the House and Ro Khanna and Thomas Massie in their bipartisan effort the 218th vote to release the Epstein files. And for some strange reason, Mike Johnson he just won't swear her in. Here's an explanation from Mike Johnson.
You've been doing this every single day, coming up here trying to pressure Senate Democrats. They've been not budging. They've blocked this bill time and time again. So at what point, for the good of the country, do you need to change your strategy to try to negotiate a deal with them?
It's a great question. Manu asks, why don't I change my strategy? I don't have any strategy, Manu. I'm doing the right thing, the clearly obvious thing, the traditional thing. That's exactly what Chuck Schumer voted for in March of this year and gave impassioned speeches was the right and only thing. I don't have anything to negotiate. I'll say this again to everyone here. We did not load up the temporary funding bill with any Republican priorities or partisan priorities at all. I don't have anything that I can take off of that document to make it more palatable for them. So all I am able to do is come to this microphone every day, look right into the camera and plead with the American people, as Chairwoman McClain said, to call your Senate Democrats and ask them to do the right thing. We're not playing games. They're playing a game. We're not. The strategy is to do the right and obvious thing and keep the government moving for the people. Our dear friend from Louisiana, Julia Letlow, won a special election back in 2021. It was in March, as I remember. Speaker Pelosi took 25 days to administer the oath of office to her. Now, no Democrats, jumped up and down and screamed about that, nor do I recall any Republicans, because everybody understood this is the process of the House. You do it as soon as you're able to do it. Ms. Grijalva won her election, and credit to her. She's going to fill her father's seat. I congratulate her. We're happy for her to serve. I'm going to be happy to administer the oath to her as I am to every member who wins who is duly elected to this body.
There's an Arabic word I'm going to teach you all. It's called a bullshit. You want to say it after me? Bullshit. That was all bullshit. The people see through the bullshit. She's been waiting for 3 weeks to get sworn in. That was before the government shut down. He could still swear her in. He chooses not to, folks, because I want to bring the receipt. In August, if you all recall, in the summer, the House closed shop early. Why? Because Mike Johnson didn't even want to bring up the vote to release the Epstein files. He didn't even have all the votes at the time, but he was so afraid of the Epstein files. He was like, sorry, we got to call it early. And sorry, we just got to do recess early now. And then all these Republicans then went and took a photo op with Benjamin Netanyahu in Jerusalem. Not making it up. So right now, for 3 weeks, Adelita Grijalva, she's come to DC. She goes, yo, I'm here. Swear me in. And he's making excuses because they know that if the Epstein files are released, it's game over for Donald Trump. Drip, 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 drip. It's only a matter of time. And folks, and when he says, I have no strategy, there's no plan. Yes, there is a strategy. It's called Project 2025. They published it. They promoted it. And when more and more people finally found out about it, Donald Trump saw the approval rating of Project 2025. It was at one time in single digits. And what did he do? He lied. He goes, I don't know Project 2025. What is that? I don't know. And then last week, because it's Donald Trump, he publicly embraced Project 2025, posted about it, all caps, and he embraced the co-author of Project 2025, white Christian nationalist, head of the OMB, Russell Vought. And Russell, there you go. You got it, Martha Salinas. 100% Project 2025 and Russell Vought. And then, to be unsubtle, he promoted and published an AI-generated video of him and Russell Vought dressed up as the Grim Reapers. And what has Russell Vought done? He has just straight up done RIFs. He's just straight up firing people from several agencies, including the EPA, HHS, and of course, Department of Education, because of course that's what you do. In addition to shutting down the government, in addition to trying to increase healthcare premiums, in addition to take $1 trillion out of Medicaid to give tax cuts to the rich, why not be more cruel and just fire qualified, competent people and make them lose their jobs and benefits? That's what they're doing. That's who they are. Yep, you said it. They all suck, folks. They can't find time to swear in Adelita Grijalva. They can't find time to, actually house and nurture these qualified, competent professionals in their agencies and let them do their work. So they're just firing them. They can't find time to, reduce healthcare costs for people because they got to give tax cuts to the rich. But this is what they find time for, to stroke Donald Trump's ego. Can you play this clip?
I'm going to make an announcement today. It's the announcement in the U.S. that was made in the Knesset yesterday. I'm proud to tell you that together with my friend Speaker Ohana of the Israeli Knesset, the equivalent of our Congress, we're going to embark upon a project together to rally speakers and presidents of parliaments around the world so that we will jointly nominate President Donald J. Trump for next year's Nobel Peace Prize. No one has ever deserved that prize more, and that is an objective fact. As Speaker Ohana said before the Knesset yesterday, quote, "Whoever saves one life, it is though he has saved an entire world." That's what some of the rabbis there would say, some of the sages he noted would say. It's an indisputable fact that no president has undertaken the work of saving lives and pursuing peace with such determination and with such remarkable success as President Trump. And under his leadership, we are witnessing the dawn of a new golden age, not just for America, but for the entire free world. The world is changed by these actions and strong leadership. American strength is good for free people around the world, as we say always, and peace through strength is maintained.
Show me you're in a cult without telling me you're in a cult. I mean, my God. Literally today, less than a day after this historic ceasefire deal and peace, 9 Palestinians have been killed by Israel. Israel is having the shipment of aid. There's still phase 5 starvation in Gaza. There's an ongoing genocide. Just an hour ago, yet again, the Trump administration struck a boat off the Caribbean coast, alleging there were drug smugglers without evidence. Again, saber rattling with war. Again, we do not know if any of these individuals were drug smugglers, which means most likely the Trump administration has engaged in extrajudicial assassination and murder. Donald Trump has also said he's open to making Canada the 51st state, changed the name of Department of Defense to Department of War, has said military options are on the table to take back Greenland. Last time I checked, Russia, Ukraine, still no peace. And ICE agents are now terrorizing kids and innocent Americans in Chicago, Portland, and LA, zip tying children. And Mike Johnson, with a straight face, thinks that no one has done more for peace. This man is so petty, so vain, so weak. He's so desperately near the end of his life, wants that one thing that Barack Obama has, that Nobel Peace Prize. Well, let's be honest, even Obama didn't deserve it, and he knows it, but he'll never, ever get it. So he did this theater last week, right? This theater of a ceasefire deal, which it seems to be already broken less than a day later because Israel literally told you the plot, their genocidal plot. Trust the evidence of your eyes and ears. They literally voted for it. The security cabinet said they're going to occupy Gaza City and move Palestinians to the south. That's ethnic cleansing, but I digress. And this man is so desperate that he wants you to ignore the evidence of your eyes and ears, but he does not have the majority, folks. We're seeing these cracks develop. America first, I'm telling you, it's another big crack. There's these 3 cankles in the Republican Party, these Achilles cankles. Epstein. Over 80% of Americans want the release of the Epstein files. So did Charlie Kirk. The economy, folks, people are not warning about a recession. Nearly half of Americans say we're going the wrong way. Price of beef is at a record high. Price of groceries is high. Job market's contracting. The last 3 of the 5 job report numbers not looking good. Private sector's not hiring. America's brand has gone down. Tourists are not visiting. Tourism has gone down. It's not looking good at all. You got Epstein, the economy, and when it comes to Israel, Palestine, fissures within the Republican Party because they're like, whoa, we didn't vote for this. And another fissure, the overreach when it comes to ICE. people like Joe Rogan even is saying, hey, zip tying kids, this is too much. This is inhumane. And now you got white folks. You got white folks in Portland. They aren't safe. And like, yeah, thank you so much. The base in Idaho. Thank you, Jay Tor. That base in Idaho. Oh, they're pissed. Wait a second. How is it America first? 8 years ago, you said Qatar sponsors terrorism, Donald Trump, but they gave you a $400 million plane and a $5.5 billion resort in Qatar, and all of a sudden America's for sale, and there's going to be a Qatari air facility in Idaho. What? These fissures, I'm telling you all, exploit them. And in honor of Charlie Kirk, in Charlie Kirk Remembrance Day, let's honor Charlie Kirk and his wishes and release the Epstein files. All right, folks, I spoke a lot. I was fast today. I was in a mood. 45 minutes. We got it done. Lexi is my DJ here. And with all that, let's take a moment to exhale. Speaking to myself first, let me take a moment to drink a little bit of water. And for our emotional support moment, let's have some catharsis. Let's have some release. Let's listen to the sights and sounds of glistening waves on a gorgeous, far-off beach. Breathe with me. We need to relax. We need to rest. There are a lot of fires, but there are a lot of firemen, fire people, I would say. We're the majority. Folks, we need to be joyful warriors. And we have 6,000 joyful warriors watching us right now on YouTube and Twitter. We got 1,400 people watching us on Substack. For all of us who joined late, have no fear. This will be up on Mary Trump's YouTube channel. Mary Trump started from scratch, and now she almost has 500,000 subscribers. I know it sounds silly, but if you aren't subscribing and you're watching on YouTube, just go click that bell. And it all helps the algorithm elves, right? And if you can, if you're watching on YouTube right now, just like this video. I swear to you, it's silly, it's weird, it helps the algorithm. And then once this is out in about 2 minutes, just share it anywhere on any platform. It really helps Mary. It helps the channel. We're independent media. As you can tell, we don't bend the knee. Mary doesn't bend the knee. All the people who are asking, is Mary okay? She's fine. She's just super busy. So when she's super busy and when she's traveling and she's a one-woman show, a dynamo, she asked me and Brian and a few other people to join in, but she's okay. She's feeling well. She'll be back next week. I subbed in as Brown Mary. I'm with DJ Lexi, who does fantastic work. Let me give a shout out to some of these fantastic super chatters. For those who don't know, on YouTube, you can give a tip. If there's a heart with a $sign, and you could be a super chatter. So thank you so much, Lizzie Beth. Follows Waj from Lemon, still laughing about workout and wash your ass. So I was on Don Lemon's show just an hour ago, right before I came in. And they have some of these photos of these young Republicans. For those who joined us late, huge story today. Politico has all the Telegram messages of these young Republican leaders being racist as F. We talked about it on the show today. But they have some of the photos of these young Republican leaders, the master race. I'm like, yo, if this is the master race, you got to work out. And please, for the love of God, wash your ass. All right. If you ain't washing your ass and working out, you can't be the master race. Those are the rules. Just keeping it real. Donna always comes through. Thank you so much, Donna, for the 20. Kathleen, fee for the receipts. Thanks, Kathleen. Susan, the greatest mod in the business, always comes around, mods, and also gives money. Government shutdown equals the Epstein. That's right, the Epstein cover-up. And that's the correct word for it, Susan. This is one of the biggest cover-ups we have seen in modern history. The Wall Street Journal reported that Donald Trump knew Pam Bondi, his attorney general, told him in May that he's in the Epstein files, which means they have been lying to the American public since May. A federal judge says the Justice Department could release the Epstein files. Pam Bondi said she had them on their desk. Why isn't it released? Because it would bring down the entire house of cards. I think raping kids or being complicit in the sex trafficking of kids is a bridge too far, even for MAGA. And Eric Swalwell, a couple of days ago, he tweeted that he allegedly received a text from a Republican colleague that said the release of the Epstein files, folks, is inevitable, drip, drip, drip. And they fear that once this information is out there, it's going to bring down the entire party. I think he's right. I think that's the insurrection. America's like, racism, lying during COVID, fraud, It might be the Epstein files that finally ends this nightmare. The GOP has become the grand old pedophile party, or the guardian of pedophiles, because another receipt, Donald Trump's spiritual advisor last week, going to jail, convicted for molesting a teenage girl. He's only spending 6 months in jail, which is another travesty. But have you noticed a lot of pedophiles, a lot of people who are engaging in threesomes? It's all projection, right? The Moms for Liberty, the co-founder, Bridget Ziegler, she was a swinger with her husband, who was a leader of the Florida Republicans, and they were like having threesome and lesbian sex, which is fine. Go and get your freak on, but don't be a friggin', a liar about it. Don't be a hypocrite. Grindr, the gay app, the Tinder gay app, for mostly used by men for hookups. Anytime there's a Republican mass convention, whether the RNC in Wisconsin or in Arizona for the Charlie Kirk propaganda rally, Grindr, there's so much action happening on Grindr that Grindr almost shuts down, folks. But look at their contempt for gay folks. It's all projection all the time. Mariana, thank you for the $5 in memory of my kitty Judy, who lost 1 week ago. Oh, I'm so sorry, Mariana. We got 3 cats. Rest in peace, kitty Judy. And we got $50. Thank you so much. In the middle of nowhere. Jen and Pumps. I was on with Jen, also on Don Lemon Show. I've Had It podcast. They're fantastic. And Mary tells it like it is. Another $10 from Susan. Another $10 from Susan. You are amazing. Carol with the $10, the emotional support fee, and a final $5. Susan, you must have given like $50 today. Folks, thank you all. And Mariana, thank you all for your love of Judy. Thank you, Watch. Thank you. Thanks for tuning in. We love cats here. Mary loves her cat. Anytime my cat comes, I realize like the numbers go up. I told Mary this kind of half jokingly. We should just do a show with Mary Trump Nerd Avengers. We all just bring our cat and we talk about like cats. I told Mary, I guarantee her record-breaking like show. It'll be like 60,000 live viewers. We don't have to say anything. We'll just bring our cat. Cat can eat something. Cat can purr. Her cat, my cat, another cat. I guarantee you, record-breaking show, which is kind of depressing because we work really hard for you. But I think if people just saw cats for 5 minutes, we would make like the most amount of money we've ever made and have the most amount of viewers. All right, folks. I've kept you longer than I wanted. Thank you to Lexi, who's my DJ. Folks, Mary asked me to sub in on Friday, but I'm going to Houston. I think Mary's accepting an award on Friday, but I think she's back tomorrow, right, Lexi? Yes, she's back tomorrow. She's back Thursday, and you're probably going to have another guest host on Friday. All is well. Mary's getting awards. It's a good thing. Thank you all for joining. As I'll say again, take care of yourself, breathe, relax, be a joyful warrior. Everything helps. 10 toes down. You cannot both sides fascism. You cannot both sides genocide. Democracy is a contact sport. You cannot stay on the sidelines anymore. If you thought you could, I give you Chicago. I give you Portland. I give you Donald Trump going after John Bolton and James Comey. If they're going after Bolton and Comey, think about the rest of us. Do whatever you can. If you can't do anything with your arms and your hands and your legs, do something with your voice. If you can't do anything with your voice, do something with your fingers. Tweet, post about it. If you can't do anything about that, at least in your heart, be against cruelty, racism, bigotry, and fascism. There's a No Kings rally, folks. Show up, show up, show up. They are freaked out. These are all signs of overreach by a weakened, terrified party. They are weak. You know how I know they're weak? Based on their actions and their rhetoric. A confident party does not behave like this. They know they're losing, which is why they're ramping up their fascist agenda. But there's more of us than there are of them. Be kind to each other. Take care of yourselves. And please, oh, please don't be a fascist.